On today's video with Trucking with Sir Mel, we're going to talk about Amish communities and how to drive around them. It can get tricky. Stay tuned. Let's go. Hello everybody, this is Trucking with Sir Mel. On today's video, as I stated, we're going to talk about the Amish. We're getting ready to take off on a trip, head to Virginia on this particular trip. So it's just something that came to my mind, and I think it's something that people don't see every day. So it's good to kind of just visit it and talk about it. It was something that was new to me. At one point, you may have experience with this, you may not. So, as you can see today, the weather is not that favorable. It's cold, it's snowy, the visibility is not perfect. This is a good day to talk about it. So, if you're not familiar with the Amish community, they do still get around on horse and buggy. They'll use the scooter things they push with. They'll ride bicycles. They walk. You know, and if they're traveling out of town, obviously they take a vehicle, more likely like a passenger van, 16-passenger van or whatever like that. But what I kind of want to talk about is mainly focus on is the buggies. We'll focus on every aspect as well, but there'll be two instances in this video where I'll encounter the buggies. One will be going my way, he'll turn off, and then the other one will be coming from the opposite direction. The thing about the buggies is they're dark and they're not very well lit. Some of them I've seen some nice LED lights on them. They're enclosed, you could tell the ones that were probably more money than the other ones. Some are just open, basic buggies. And so the thing with the buggies is sometimes they're close to the road. They're taking up, partly shoulder, part road, and you have to maneuver around them in the safest way possible. And these buggies do get hit. If you Google buggy accidents, and you'll see that they get ran into the back of, and obviously bad things happen when that occurs. People lose their life, but I've seen the buggies loaded down with children, adults. You'll see the kids driving them sometimes as well. And they're trained on it. They grew up around that stuff, so they get it. And they also have the mini ponies that pull the buggies too, the smaller little wagons. But the thing I try to do is to get around them as safely as possible, give them enough room. I don't want to startle the horse, or it's not like a vehicle. That horse has a mind of his own. He's going to do what he wants. Now, mind you, they use the blinders to keep them focused and, looking straight and not get distracted and things like that. But if that horse wants to go, he's going to go, So I try to give them enough space and room to get around them in a safe way, as safely as possible. And I think that's the key to sharing the road with them. A lot of people don't agree with it, that's your opinion, but they are on the road and you got to kind of deal with it. The same as I've seen them walking along the shoulder of the road at night, they're there. I try to give them space. God forbid if one of them trips and falls or loses their footing or something like that. So I just use it and do it the same as I would any other vehicle on the shoulder. I get over if I can, or give them space. And I also treat it, if I'm on a 2-lane road, which more than likely I'm not, more than likely I am, I treat it as the same as a vehicle. So if it's a double yellow and there's a buggy, I don't try to pass them. I stay behind them until it's safe to do so, because that's a good way to get yourself a citation or something. It is breaking the law, so you want to keep your license as clean as possible. There'll be times where there'll be vehicles coming the other way. You may have the dotted line. There'll be vehicles coming the other way. You won't be able to pass. So what I do in that instance is I go ahead and put my flashers on, because we're already moving at a slow speed. That lets people behind me know, hey, we're coming to a slowdown up here. You know, it's just an advanced warning for everybody. Then when I can safely do so, I'll pass the buggy. There'll also be instances where you'll come around a buggy and you'll have to get behind another one and wait. Or you'll be passing one and there's 4 or 5 coming in opposite direction. Bad weather. I've seen them out 2 o'clock in the morning riding their buggies. You know, they get out of church or they're coming from a friend's house. They have these get-togethers. You need to be able to account for that and be prepared for these encounters, because if you're in a community where they live at, this is their reality. So, and if you're from somewhere where that's not normal, or the big city, and you're new to trucking and you've never been out to these rural areas where these Amish people live, it may be new to you. I remember my son came on a truck with me during spring break one year, and he was 9 at the time, and I said, look, there's a horse and buggy, and he was awestruck, man. He was like, whoa, wow, Dad, do they know that there's still cars around? He was just, he's used to watching TV and the Wild Wild West. You see the horse and buggy, but he actually saw it in real life in person, and he was just like, wow, that's cool, man. So just like anything else, always looking ahead, always preparing for the unexpected. That's part of being a professional driver. That's part of being a CDL driver, is to be prepared and look ahead and expect these things. Now, it's this point where I'm going to be coming up on a buggy, and I'll try to point it out because I seen him off in the distance. I seen his lights flashing, and the buggy actually turns off right before I got to it, so I didn't even have to maneuver around it. In the rain and the snow, those horses do tend to slip on the pavement, whether they're trying to stop or turn or whatever the case may be. So you got to account for that as well. And just, it's nothing more than an inconvenience, man. They won't be in the way for long. Just give them their space and their time, and you'll safely, get around them. Also with the bicycles, they're on the shoulder. Sometimes they'll have the lights on their head to get, to be able to see that, barely see it. So as you can see now, this one has pretty good lights on it. You can see the lights alternating, flashing. They're going to make a left-hand turn up here as I'm getting to them. You'll be able to get a good glimpse of what the buggy actually looks like. They're turning left. So if you look now, you'll see there's nothing more than the passenger holding the umbrella over their head to keep the snow from falling on them. That was a simple buggy. Some of them are enclosed, some aren't. And like I said, just treat them the same as the general motoring public. Even though they're operating in a different capacity, it can be frustrating getting the poop all over your car and stuff like that, man. Or it can be frustrating when they're poorly lit. It's very dangerous. And that's people not paying attention. And also the poorly lit buggies is why they get ran into the back of and why they ultimately get hit. Because they're in rural areas where the lighting isn't that great, or, things like that. So I had a car that had tinted windows, and when I was driving back and forth between work, I would crack the window at night so I could see a little better, or things like that, man. And like I said, these are things just to account for. There's another one up here. It's going to turn off of a side street, make a left-hand turn, but then make a quick right. When that buggy makes that right, there's a truck that's going to come over a little hill. You're talking 30 seconds sooner, that truck comes over that hill, that buggy is right there. Luckily, there was a little more time, but there was been no way for that driver to come over that hill and know that buggy was going to come out. Sometimes they don't stop and look when they turn out. They simply just come out. and that could be dangerous as well. So expecting that in a Amish community, in a rural area, can kind of keep you advanced and say, hey, let me kind of plan for this buggy. I don't want to get too excited. Speed limit's 55 anyway, so ain't no need in flying on these back roads. You see the weather ain't the greatest, so that alone should keep you out of trouble and keep you as safe as you could possibly be, and keep them safe as well. You know, they want to go home to their family just like you do. I wouldn't want that on my conscience, knowing I ran into a buggy with a load of children or a woman or man. It don't matter. Knowing that a life was lost, I wouldn't want that on my conscience when all I'm trying to do is provide for my family in the best and safest way that I know how. Right here, the buggy just made a left-hand turn, and then they're going to make a quick right. The headlights that you see is the truck. So, I mean, that truck's barreling down on them pretty quick. Look at it right there. He's got time to react, but any sooner, and it's a bad day for everybody involved. So I just wanted to leave y'all with those quick little tips around buggies, you know, how to get around them. Look ahead, plan ahead, get an idea for the flashing lights. Be prepared for them to be walking on the shoulder, riding a bike on the shoulder. Expect the unexpected from the horse. That horse has a mind of its own. It thinks what it wants to think. It's going to do what it wants to do. So that's the end of today's video. I appreciate the 138 subscribers we have now. I appreciate everybody who watches the video, whether you subscribe or not. I appreciate you taking the time to just be here on this channel and grow with us. So everybody be safe. Everybody have a great day. Make it to your destination safely. Most importantly, make it home safely. It's an awesome day, and I'll catch you guys next time.